Good evening, everybody. Not yet? Good evening, everybody. This is Gabriela Nashiba reporting from Gilitix Media. We're having a live stream about agripreneurship. Now, we want to understand more from the panel we have today. And generally, why are we having this discussion about agripreneurship? Because the panel is all agripreneurs who are doing so great in their different fields. And so, while we're having this conversation, I'll go right into that. Agriculture is vast with endless opportunities. Agribusiness has been in existence for the longest time, from back in barter trade until now. It is business that is feeding the nation and empowering very many people. So, young people are tapping into the space with the privilege of incorporating technology and new knowledge. We are able to maximize on outputs and run successful businesses. Today, I speak to brilliant young people who have ventured into agribusiness. Join me. The hashtags you can use online: Kulimayang, Agripreneurship Journey, hashtag Gilitix Media. Now, I'll go straight into inviting the panelists we have today. I'll start with Clinton. Clinton, can you hear me? We have Clinton Odwar,
Yes, I can
who
hear you,
is the
Gabriel.
founder of IBIS. We have John Duty, who is an agripreneur in mango farming.
Thank
Welcome,
you.
guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gabriel.
Yes, so this platform has been empowered by Gilitix Media. It is a digital media platform where we create content about what's happening in our community. We are passionate about telling stories in our community and speaking about things that affect us directly. Personally, I speak about agripreneurship and agriculture so much, and that is what I'm passionate about. And I'm so glad to have you on board today. Now, a very simple question. We could start with what agripreneurship means to us. Clinton, go ahead. In
Thank
very
you,
few words,
Gabriel.
please tell us. Yes.
So, my definition of agripreneurship is
Mm-hmm.
simply being involved in agriculture to earn a living,
Great.
either
Joe?
either directly or
Okay.
indirectly.
Mm-hmm. I like that. Directly or indirectly. Joe, how about you?
Well, my take on agripreneurship is any activity you involve yourself in agriculture with the end goal of maximizing profits. Profits are very important.
Very true. So for me, I like what Clinton said, like directly or indirectly, because agriculture is feeding the nation. I used to think, oh, it's the backbone of the nation. It's just a saying, but the number of people in our country who directly and indirectly depend on agriculture is is a very huge number. I don't have the statistics, but it's a very huge number. Because from the moment the seed is planted in the ground to the moment it's harvested and it gets to your plate, there's so many people involved in between. And as Joe says it, profits are very important because at the end of the day, I mean, we have to sustain the business and to feed ourselves. So I'll go straight ahead to maybe let you introduce yourself and what you do and the agri venture that you're in. I'll start with you, Joe.
Well, currently I'm in real estate, but
Mm-hmm.
before I got into real estate, I've been doing agriculture in Okambani for a while right now, say 6 years. And I would say agriculture gave me the jump started my career in terms of real estate because I was able to feed myself, feed other people, and at the same time get money for my business at the same time from the same venture. So that's my line of business. That's why I even up to now, as I concentrate on real estate, my mind, I cannot run away from agriculture and agripreneurship, because I know that's where the future is. People have to eat,
Mhm.
people have to sustain themselves, and you can do it as part time, you can do it as full time. Either way, it's a rewarding venture.
So we can say for you, you started as part-time, or when you started, you were a full-time.
Well, actually, when I started, I was bored. We had moved from Kitui to Machakos, so we had a new farm. We had to set something up there. So we
Mhm.
planted so many seedlings for mangoes, avocados, different things. But I took an interest in mangoes specifically because of the things you can do to improve or get different varieties, or shorten the period where you reap your mangoes. So I
Mhm.
just took an interest, and initially I was not that serious, but when I saw the end results, I think now I started concentrating more on it, and it became something I would definitely do it as a full time thing, because at the end of the year, the profits were good.
Great.
Yeah.
How about you, Clinton? Maybe you introduce to us what you do.
Okay, so me, I'm involved in agripreneurship in two ways, directly and indirectly. So in both ways through agtech. Agtech is basically infusing technology to create value in sustainable agriculture. So like the first way in which I'm involved directly is through a startup called IBIS. So what IBIS does is that we are creating devices to help beekeepers monitor the health of their beehives in real time on their phone. What I mean by this is that we are creating devices which, once embedded on beehives, can send like the beekeepers notifications about everything that's going on their phone, on their beehives. So this might be whether like the beehives has been knocked over or about to be stolen through hive haste. It can also be through like the microclimate of the beehives. These include like temperature and humidity of the beehives. Like this temperature and humidity usually affects like the beehives in a lot of ways. The first way usually it can affect like the quality of honey, and the second way it can affect the hive is through like infestation of pests and diseases like the varroa mites, which are the biggest threat of beekeepers today. So the second way in which I'm involved in agripreneurship is through a startup called Ryan's Lab. So what we do at Ryan's Lab is that we create like a state-of-the-art technology to create like a peaceful coexistence between like
Clinton,
humans and wildlife. Hello?
Clinton, your voice is breaking. Or can the rest of you hear Clinton? Your voice was breaking a little.
Oh, what
Hello?
about now?
Okay,
Hello?
yeah, please proceed.
Oh, sorry about that. So the second way, kindly let me know when I'm not
Yes.
audible enough. Yeah. So the second way in which I'm involved in agripreneurship indirectly is through a startup called Translab. So what we do at Translab is that we build state-of-the-art technology to create a peaceful coexistence between humans and wildlife. So as you know, there's been a lot of cases of human-wildlife conflicts whereby wildlife go outside of their protected areas and go to the farmers' land and destroy all the harvest that the farmers has been depending on all through they planted their crops. So what you are doing is that you are creating sensors that can detect like animals when they are just about to move into like farmers' farms, so that at least the farmers can create value out of their harvest. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, now Clinton, you've spoken like a true IT guru,
Yeah, I
and
was actually lost there.
sisi ni wakulima.
Ah, okay, sorry about that. Sorry about that.
Hata simu vile tunaweza kuioperate ni Mungu tu. So I'd like to take you back a little
Okay,
about IBs, because I knew you
okay.
through IBs.
Yeah, sure.
I'm a beekeeper.
Okay.
You come to me. Now tell me
Uh-huh.
how the IBs works. Like, is it a gadget? Is it a software? Is it an app? Kindly, yeah. How do I go about that, or how would you deliver that to me?
So IB's package comes in form of two things. The first one is a
Mm-hmm.
gadget that is embedded on your beehive. Then the gadget will be transmitting like data about like your beehives to your mobile app.
On
So
each
like
beehive.
yeah, on each beehive.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of the day, you'll be having like an IBIS app, which will be telling you everything that is happening on your farm. So this comes in form just like an app whereby you can view everything. And the other one come through SMS notification because we understand like not all beekeepers have mobile smartphones. So what we do if there is an activity that has happened in your beehive, a serious activity of
Mm-hmm.
interest, you will get like a text alert of that particular thing. Maybe your beehive has been knocked over by, let's say, a honey badger, which is a very serious pest today, or maybe somebody just wants to come and take your honey, you'll get a notification through an SMS.
Ah, so it's a device you fix on the beacon,
Yeah,
the beehive, sorry,
yeah,
and then you can it transmits messages to your phone.
yeah, sure, sure,
In a
sure.
nutshell, like in a simpler way to understand it.
Yeah, sure, sure. That's how it works.
Ah,
Yeah,
okay, great. Now, when you're starting your venture, I'm sure you've been able to experience various challenges.
sure.
What is it that you wish you learned that you had to learn while you're at it, especially with the software now using, I mean, technology is still um, being developed in agriculture. I think it's also been a challenge to develop it because most farmers don't really understand technology. So how was that for you?
Yeah, sure. So like how we are building IBIS is through like customer feedback. So what we do is that we really engage the farmers a lot. And this was due to a lesson because initially what we were doing is that we were product oriented, meaning that we were focusing on what we do rather than like what the farmers really want. So like
Mm-hmm.
we realized that first like the first initial like benefits that we are creating, the first initial features of IBs weren't that important to the beekeepers. So like it forced us like to really go back to the beekeepers themselves, to the field, and really understand their problems. Then after that, it's when now we started like now like building a product for the farmers rather than like building a product rather than like
Uh,
focusing on the product. We are now focusing on the farmers.
on the farmer, great. How about you, Joe? What is it that you wish you knew before you ventured into mangoes?
Well, I wish I knew or I had researched more about pest control.
Pest.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
pest.
actually a big
Yeah,
challenge.
a big challenge that I was not prepared for. And I'd say
Mm-hmm.
my first and second times, I really struggled a lot with pests because
Mm-hmm.
once you treat one pest, the other one comes in the next week, and the
Mm-hmm.
cycle repeats itself. So starting off, I wish I knew how to prepare my soil. I wish I knew how to the types of manure to use or the type of spray to use for the leaves. So that is information that I came to learn on the job, but technically cost me or the business a lot because you'd see a mango is good, but once you
You
go
cut
in,
it open.
once you cut it open,
Mm-hmm.
it's all rotten. So
Oh
information,
my.
I was missing information with regards to pest control, and I wish that's the only thing had done research on. And as I said earlier on, when we started, we were uh, in Ukambani villages. Planting mangoes is like a norm. Most people
Mm-hmm.
don't do it for the money per se, because almost every homestead has it. But when we got into it, we saw how profitable it could be, and we started
Mm-hmm.
into it as a business. So yes.
Okay. And okay, the time you were getting the pest invasion and all that, were you doing it on a large scale or you're still on a small scale?
We were doing it on a large scale because at the time we had over 75 trees of mangoes in one farm. Over
Pardon?
70,
You had?
we had over 75 trees of mangoes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I would say from the background where I come from, that is on a large scale, because most people who do it to pass time would do it maybe 10, 15, maybe less than 10, maybe a maximum of 20. But we
Mm-hmm.
had gone all the way because we wanted to, the vision was, we want those lorries that go to Marikiti or all those markets in Kikuyu or
Mm-hmm.
along which road to be coming to the farm
Mm-hmm.
to get them their mangoes, instead of us going
From
to,
you.
yeah, instead of us going to them, because that cuts the transport factor. So when we
Okay.
were doing that, we incurred a lot of losses because we were doing it on a large scale. And when you're doing it on a large scale, if there are losses or infestation, pest infestation, that means almost all the trees were affected. And when it
Infected.
came to
Yeah.
treating them, yes, it was also very, very costly. So yes.
Oh no. I'm so
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah,
It must
but
have been hectic.
we learned from the job.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was your first year or second
that was my first and second year. The first year was
or the
crazy.
first? Uh-huh.
Yeah, the second year was a little bit, but and as I said, as you proceed and as you progress, you learn and reinvent yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so now for our dear listener, I hope you're following with us on this topic. Generally, it is to encourage you that agripreneurship is wide. I mean, I'm so glad today to have Joe, who is actually doing the mango farming. So he's more on the farm level. And we have Clinton, who is also an entrepreneur, but now he's in the technology, creating technology, or rather inventing technology that helps the farmer to get better results in
Right.
their venture.
Hmm.
Generally, that is it. And I wish I had more speakers, but today is already amazing because we also have the people who are standing in the harvesting, in value addition. Generally, agriculture is that wide, and so as you listen to us today, I hope you're motivated and encouraged to join in agripreneurship at any stage because there is a lot to do and there's a lot of untapped potential in it. Well, moving on, I would like to understand your lowest and highest moments so far in your journey. I'll start with you, Clinton. What's your lowest and highest moment so far?
So like I would say like for us on a technical background, our lowest moments
Mm-hmm.
usually comes on a technical point of view, whereby maybe you have developed everything works well, you have tested it well, works well. Then when you go to the customer one day without expectation, the stuff doesn't work like just once like that. So it happened once when you are doing a testing, and I will consider that as our lowest moment.
How about your highest?
In terms of our highest moment, I think it usually comes like quite very frequently because it's usually in terms of like how the beekeepers react to our product. They
Mm-hmm.
usually say it like a game changer and how like they do things. Because like we are bringing the value of something called like precision agriculture. So like precision agriculture is not just the normal agriculture, which is usually based on guessworks. It's about like doing it with just the right amount, like not too much and not too less. We are maintaining the condition
Mm-hmm.
of the beehive to be just optimum. So the
Just right.
farmers really usually like love it. Yeah,
Oh, that's
and
amazing.
usually
Okay. How about you, Joe? What was your highest and lowest? At least you have about 6 years experience there.
Oh wow. I think my lowest moment was during my first and second year. I'm
Mm,
standing on the farm and there are so many mangoes. There's yellow everywhere, and I'm like, damn, this is a lot of money. And then
mm,
when you think you almost coming to the crossing line, you
mm-hmm.
realize all those mangoes, 60% or 70% of them are rotten inside because of the
Oh.
pest. Yeah, so
Mm-hmm.
that was devastating. I almost even gave up on the whole venture
I
itself
can
because
imagine.
I was like all these losses, and from the tree it looks good, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad we noticed that before we went to the market, because that
Mm-hmm.
would have had a bad reputation on our product.
That's true.
Yeah. Well, my
And
highest
mm-hmm.
moment
Mm-hmm.
was when I learned this grafting procedure, where you are
Oh
able,
yeah.
yeah, you're able to use one branch from a different species of mango, and attach it to it's done like manually. There's no scientific
Mm-hmm.
way. They actually roll it, and wanaifunga tu na kakitu hapo kama blada. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so when I learned that, and the results were amazing, because we were able to come up with this ngowe mango species that was very sweet, and everybody was saying, damn, those mangoes are good. So yeah, that was my highest moment, because we got a
Yeah.
lot of sales based on referrals.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was
Ah, that's amazing.
yeah, and we went that on 2 years on a row with that kind of a sale, and that was good.
That was a jackpot.
Yeah, that was a jackpot.
But the
Yeah,
grafting has come in to really save the mango industry. That
yeah,
is true.
and improve things as well. Yeah,
Yes, for sure. That's why we need more inventions. If you're an inventor, you can make apps, you can go to the lab and figure something out. I mean, we
yeah.
need you. We really do.
And I'm glad
Now,
I'm glad there's
yes,
an
yes,
IT expert here.
yes,
Yes, I'm glad there's an IT expert here who can assist us with how now to modernize what we do in the farm, how now we can
for
bring it
sure.
into reality, because everything is online right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Clinton, you hear how many potential clients you have. Once you're established in beekeeping,
Yeah.
Joe needs you in the mangoes. Do we still have Clinton?
Now, Clinton it appears he disappeared. From my screen, I can only see it's the two of us, if I'm not wrong.
Oh no.
Yeah, maybe he got cut off.
Okay. As we wait for him,
Hmm.
um, we've been through a pandemic. Uh,
Yes,
sometimes I'm confused if we are still in the pandemic or it's over, or I don't know. I really don't.
the roller coaster.
But it's definitely had an impact
Hmm.
on business. So, how has COVID impacted you on your venture in mango farming?
Well, that on the flip side, I would say all factors notwithstanding, COVID and mangoes, the relation is almost zero, because for us we're still planting, we're still making sure they're well watered.
Hello,
Are you still with me?
hello, Joe.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yes. So for us, we're still on the farm. We're still doing the basics, and when
Mm-hmm,
the time actually is almost here, because we start reaping in December to
mm-hmm,
January, and latest up to February. So
mm-hmm.
with the pandemic, nothing has changed much on the farm, because especially Ushago, there's nothing much going on. But now
Oh
the
yeah.
problem would be the restrictions in the city on how not to access new markets, because movement is curtailed right now. You can't just travel and go around looking for new
Mm-hmm.
markets. So that with the pandemic, that has been the bigger challenge: transport and looking for new markets. People don't want to go out or travel as much as they did before the pandemic.
Okay. That brings me to what marketing strategies have you used in the past, and maybe during the way the pandemic is affecting the marketplace, what
Mhm.
have you been able to incorporate in your marketing strategies? What did you use when you started, and what is working for you now?
Well, when I started first, I think I've been lucky, because we had a brief not actually a brief. We had a long background with fresh produce. My
Mhm.
family has been supplying fresh produce to Uchumi supermarkets for a very long time before Uchumi became bankrupt. So we knew a lot of farmers, and we knew a lot of people who are in the fresh produce business. So we were able to contact them. When we as a family were supplying, we were going to Marikiti to get our fresh produce. But now in this time, we thought if we go to Marikiti, that means there are farmers who go and get their produce in Marikiti. Why can't we be the guys who the suppliers come to instead of going to Marikiti? So we did not do much of marketing strategies, especially online. It was all manual, word of mouth. Hey, I know you're a supplier. I know that you need these goods. Why don't you come to my farm and check us out? So that's what we did. At least we were lucky we had the background we knew people who supply fresh produce and fruits. So we were able to tap into them. And instead of them going to a second party, they were able now to come to the farm itself and get better prices.
Okay. And consider to use social media for marketing? Does it work for mango farming?
Say again, please.
I'm saying, or rather, I'm asking,
Mhm.
have you thought of using social media for marketing your mangoes? And if so, is it something that works for mango marketing, or you saw it's not the right channel to use?
Actually, with the pandemic, I regretted. I wish we could have started earlier on with social
Mm-hmm.
media, because our initial goal was we want to be the first of contact for suppliers. So we want them to come to our farm. But now
Mm-hmm.
with the changing trends in the market and with the pandemic, I regret. I wish we were more online, because now we would not struggle so much on
Yeah.
the dynamic. So I'd say we didn't do much of online or social media marketing initially, but
Mm-hmm.
right now it's something that we are actively thinking about, since we are now thinking of how now to improve our product from the shamba
Mm-hmm.
to now um, make the product better, not just to sell it, but how to improve it for other purposes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I'm really curious. What counties really do like have a demand for the mangoes when you harvest?
Say again, what county has the demand?
Yeah, yeah,
Well,
high demand. Like when you harvest, they're there on phone. Are the mangoes ready? Can we come for them?
I'd say Kikuyu and Nairobi, Central and Nairobi.
Okay.
Central and Nairobi, because in Central there are not so many mangoes, or the species or the variety are not so different. But in
Mm-hmm.
Nairobi, there is a wide clientele, because everyone comes to Nairobi or Mombasa
Sure.
or Kisumu
Yeah.
to look for stuff. So I'd say Nairobi was convenient for us because it was closer. Mombasa, there's a market. Kisumu, there's a market, but the transport logistics did not make sense vis-a-vis the profits. So we did not venture much into the distance. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but Nairobi, I'd say, is a big catch. Yeah.
Okay. So there's a question here from Mugabe.
Okay.
Thank you for watching, Mugabe. His question is, how do you venture into agripreneurship? So maybe I can phrase it to, how do you venture into mango farming? How would you advise someone who maybe they have a piece of land
Mhm.
and they want to now start doing mango farming?
Well, first of all, I'm sure you don't have to need so much land. If you just have any size of land, you just
Mm-hmm.
you go and buy the seedlings, depending on the species that you'd like or the
Mm-hmm.
varieties that you're looking for, because we have different types of mangoes, or the purpose, because we have for consumption or for export. Okay, both are for consumption, but if you're looking to export, there are
Mm-hmm.
different species they're looking for. If you're looking for
Mm-hmm.
local selling, there are the different species they're looking for. So once you identify that, you go and buy your seedling. Research on the manure, something that we did not do initially, how to prepare your soil beforehand. Make sure you
Mm-hmm.
have ample water, because when the seedlings are small, you'd require to really, they require a lot of water. And then it's a go. Once you start now, you start learning about grafting, you start learning about your pest. It takes a while actually. It takes around 3 years before you start seeing any flowers on the trees. 2 to 3 years,
Mm-hmm.
depending on which species you chose. So yeah. And then it's a go. It requires a lot of patience, but at the same time, the fruits are rewarding.
I would say the same
Yeah.
about mango farming. It actually takes time
It
to
takes
get the
time. Yeah.
mangoes, but once you start harvesting,
Yeah.
it's it's like hitting a jackpot.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, we have Clinton back. Welcome back, Clinton.
Sorry, I had a few glitches with my internet, but I'm now fully back.
Okay, so has COVID-19 had any impact on your venture?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
for
sure.
Clinton.
Like,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
okay, yeah, sure. COVID-19 really hit us like hard the way just it hit like other sectors. So for us, it hit us like in a very bad way. Coming from like a technical background, you see like even the devices that you are creating for IBs like need some sensors to add on them. But most of these sensors we don't source them locally. We usually rely on like overseas markets. We need to go to markets from China to bring them so that we can assemble it um, to now before even taking them to the beehives. But we there was like a very big like a chip shortage that affected the whole world. It affected all technology companies, uh, phone companies, even like vehicle manufacturers. It somehow slowed us for around 6 months, meaning like 6 months we couldn't like create any new stuff. Maybe we could just rely on what we had already created before. So like
Mm-hmm.
it hit us in that way. Like we couldn't like actually get the components that we usually use to assemble like our product.
Mm-hmm. I'm so sorry for that. And
Mm.
how about now? Now that the world is opening up slowly, is it a bit better for you now?
Yeah, sure, sure. Slowly by slowly, like things are getting better. It
Like
isn't
getting
like
better.
the way it was before, because like
Mm-hmm.
since now, like the way like COVID-19 has like somehow reduced a little bit, the prices like of the semiconductors that we are using, the prices of the sensors that we are using, um, have really like skyrocketed. Like because like today like only a few people like have them on their stores to sell, so somehow they usually control the prices, and you'll find that a sensor that could cost for around 200 shillings now goes for around 2000. That's almost 10 times. And you can't create a product with such sensors, because like at the end of the day, like if the farmers who's going to buy it, and if the sensor price has
Yeah.
skyrocketed, it means that we need also to increase like our prices, which like
Mm-hmm.
a farmer can't really buy. Because if you are buying a beehive at let's say like 5,000, and we come tell you like this device is going to cost around 3,000, doesn't really make sense. So we really
Mm-hmm.
need to work with the realistic prices from the market, so that we can create like devices which are really affordable to the
That is
farmers.
true. And actually, that's always been my concern when it comes to making inventions. Unfortunately, our country is not so conducive for innovations. So when
Yeah, sure.
you're coming up with something and you need um, to assemble things to get what are these called items to bring something together, it's not normally the easiest of things. And that's why I'm really impressed by what you do. So how in starting out, how did you actually, is it something you studied, by the way? Is it something you did in school about maybe IT and softwares and all
So like my background is in electrical engineering, but most of the stuff I do like they're just like technology stuff outside class. So like it's something supported by, they usually something called dev communities in tech. It's a community of like people who write software. So like they usually organize in terms of meetups whereby you come together, teach one another one or two things about like
Mm-hmm.
building innovations. Then that's how like I I started.
Oh, great. So at least with people, with other people in the same line, it was easy to know where to get certain items and where you can buy what and what to assemble your devices, right? From what I
Yeah,
understand.
sure. Yeah, sure, sure,
This
sure.
brings me to a
It's all
very
about.
interesting. Uh-huh. Yes, please.
Yeah, yeah, I was about to say that it's all about the entire ecosystem, the ecosystem of partnership with
Mm-hmm.
fellow technical people and also the farmers. So it's some kind of like a circular loop. Farmers
Mm-hmm.
and people in the technology field helping each other. Farmers
Mm-hmm.
helping the people in technology to make products that make sense, and people from technology also assisting each other to make things that can bring value to the farmers.
Yeah, I like that because it generally just takes a whole village, to achieve success in
Yes.
a
Yeah,
life.
sure. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Joe, you want to say something?
No, I'm actually very impressed. These are new insights. One thing I was hoping for this webinar is to be able to learn something new, and I'm already learning a lot.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. One lesson I learned this year, I think probably end of last year, is that when you come into business, it is not a one-man show.
No,
You need you need the way you say partnerships. You need people to work with. You need a team. You need a team. I don't know if you guys agree with me.
I do 100%.
Yeah, sure. Sure. Sure.
Great, great. So how has it been for you in your journey? How's the team dynamics been for you? How is decision making on maybe this is the time we will sell our produce, or no, we will wait a little bit, or for like Clinton, you would say this is the time we'll go into the market with the product, or no, we wait for us. Like, how are the team dynamics, and how has that been for you generally? I'll start with you, Joe.
Well, with regards to partnership, I would say we wouldn't have done much if it was not for the cooperation and the team, because there are so many things involved,
Mm-hmm.
on a daily preparation of the trees, how to spot out pests, and
Mm-hmm.
prepare the soil. There are so many things involved. So from my perspective, I'd say I've been working with a great team. There are guys on the ground 24/7. And I would say trees
Mm-hmm.
are just like living things, just like your pet or animal, something that you take care of on a daily basis. So
Mm-hmm.
we have guys who man the shamba to make sure if there's water connected to the holes where near the trees, that what they are able to get ample water and sunlight. um, all these factors, you cannot do it alone. For example, I'm in Nairobi looking for market for my mangoes. I cannot be at the
Mm-hmm.
same time be at the farm spotting weevils, for example. So I think your question was how the team affects the growth of the business, right?
Yes.
Yes, without a team, I wouldn't have done much. And also now, when a team played a lot of um, success when it came now to selling our produce, because we were relying more on word of mouth and referrals. So
Mm-hmm.
as I look for clientele, we were giving out samples whenever we went, and people would be like, you know what, you should come and check us out on our farm and see if you can be able to buy in large quantity. Of course, we would offer discounts. So one person, and as I said earlier on, we did not do so much of online marketing. We relied mostly on Ushago style of selling. Hey, niaje niko na maembe, or
Mm-hmm.
I know you supply fresh produce and fruits to different supermarkets. Can you come to my farm and check us out? We'll give you great deals. So that's what we did. And one person giving out the word is not as efficient or effective as 20 people doing the same thing. So the team really came in handy and are still coming in handy up to this date.
If I may ask,
Yes.
the team, what does the team entail for you? when it comes to down the farm level, or rather even in how you do the business itself? How is the team structured for you?
First and foremost, we have the groundsmen. Those are guys who on a daily basis is to take care of the plant, to make sure that the plant is well watered, to make sure that the
Mm-hmm.
routine spraying, checking out for pests on a weekly or bi-weekly basis. So there are guys that always are always on the ground to make sure, because that's our bank. The tree is our bank. That's our hope. So there are guys who are there to take care of
Yeah,
our investment.
true.
That's our yeah, that's
Yeah,
our investment. That's where I
yeah.
think, and those are the most important people in the team, because without that product, without that investment, which is the tree, we are not able to get the fruits.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and then now we have what we'd call a research team. A research team is people now who go to different shambas, to different agripreneurs who are well versed with mango. And as I said, as we started, we did not have prior knowledge. We just did it for because everyone else, all my neighbors are doing it. All the difference is we went on a large scale. So we have guys who go out there and scout for information. How best can we improve our product? Like the grafting example, we learned that from a a very rare source. We did not expect it,
Mm-hmm.
but it's more of how to go out there, look for this information to improve our product. That's the research team. And then now there's the marketing team, the people who are going to look for the business. Hey, I have apple mangoes, I have ngowe mangoes. We've been able to graft this species with the other one, and we've come up with a very juicy or sweet mango. Would you like to try it? Here's our sample. That's our marketing team now on the ground with the product
Mm-hmm.
on hand. Hey, would you like to try it? If they like it, we invite them. If they're not able to come, we will take your order and deliver it to your door. We don't care. So I think our team is just the three layers: guys on the
Mm-hmm.
ground, the research team, and our guys who will get our mango to the stores.
Great. That's a well structured team.
Yeah,
I'm sure
thank
that's why
you,
you have success on your side.
thank you. We've tried.
Okay. So, before I ask you a question, Clinton, on your marketing strategies, I just want to read. We have so many comments coming in. We have Kipro Rhoda saying, interesting topic, Gilitics Media. She also says, I wish I, I wish a young person raised in Nairobi would come share their experience with farming, how they prepared manure and so on. Again, she says, I agree totally. As a young person, I used to enjoy family. I think she meant farming till I moved out of the country. I miss farming. You can really invest a lot in it. Well, for Rhoda, I mean, we have Joe from Nairobi, and he's explaining what he does. So, or I'm not getting it right because you're saying a young person raised in Nairobi would come and share the experience with farming. Am I right, Joe?
Yeah, I think they are trying to say um, someone from Nairobi to explain it from their point of view,
Or someone doing it in Nairobi right now?
or somebody doing it in Nairobi right now. I'm not quite sure.
Okay.
I think they are trying to mean someone who has grown up in the city, no,
Yeah, and doing it in the city, right?
and doing it in the city. I'm not quite sure myself. Yeah, maybe. But personally, if that's the question, if I may go first, um,
Mm-hmm.
I grew up in the city most of my life. I went to shags kutembea too from time to time. But I think it takes an interest. It doesn't matter where you are. You might be all the way across the globe, but it depends on the interest. And now with the way things are changing, you don't have to be there physically. You can be in Nairobi and still do farming back at home, because they
That
are
is true.
yeah. So personally, I grew up in Nairobi, but I still went back in there. I did not spend so much time like 24/7 on the farm, I would say that, but business is
Mm-hmm.
still going on. I would go for maybe on the weekends, and still, we were still able to do it because, and as you mentioned earlier, you can't do it alone. You require a team.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I think when you're doing what you're saying, Joe, when you're doing maybe farming and you're not necessarily in the farm, maybe you're running things from the city, a good team on the ground is very important
A
for it
good
to be
one. Yes.
successful.
Yes.
Yeah.
As,
Clinton, what's your experience? Oh, sorry, yes, Joe?
yes. I was just trying to add on. That's why I mentioned in our structure, the guys on the ground, our team on the ground who takes care of our investment. Those are our most important guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That is true. Clinton, what's your experience? Did you grow up in the city?
Yeah, sure, sure. I grew up in the city till I
Uh-huh.
went to further my studies. So, like, growing in the city shouldn't like be an issue at all because, like, we should view agripreneurship like being like the whole value chain from
Mm-hmm.
food, from the way we grow our crops to how we eat food. Because, like, all of us eat food, whether we are from Nairobi or from the village. So we should
Mm-hmm.
just look at agripreneurship on how we can add value to the whole value chain from like a farming in the farm to like uh, it consuming the food on the table. Yeah, be it on a logistic point of view or farming. Yeah.
That's a very interesting point, Clinton, because it might not be in the farm, but you're in the city and you get the food from the farm and do value addition. You know, I like that. And
Yeah, sure.
something also came across my mind. There is urban farming. I mean, you could be living in the city, but at the back of your house, you have maybe a small kitchen garden. You grow your own burgers. Maybe it could not be so much into a commercial setup because of space in the city, but you can still be able to grow food to sustain your family. And better still, if you use the new technologies like hydroponics with such a small space, you're able to grow so much food. So for Rhoda and all other listeners and viewers who have interest in doing that, we can make it our next topic to speak about how you can do farming in the city or how you can be an agripreneur while you're from the city, right? So moving from that, Clinton, please share with us your marketing strategies that you've used, especially for IDs.
Yeah, sure. Regarding our marketing strategy, it all goes to the team, just as Joe said, like having a team that you really share like the same vision and mission. The
Mm-hmm.
team is what is going to, you look at a team like a brand, like a brand is what sells an organization or a company outside there. So like
Mm-hmm.
marketing should come from the team, the entire team, a team that you wake up the following day and say like you are really going for this, like you don't give up, you're really going to the farmers, whether they like give you like negative or positive feedback. At the end of the day, you should just take like the negative feedback as a positive feedback on your side so that you can at least try to improve the value that the farmers are trying to add on your side. So like when it comes to marketing, it really boils down to the team. And when you're making a good product for the farmers, you just need like the right people also to help you reach the farmers, and it all comes to the team. And when it comes to the team, it's not just about numbers, it's also about also like the people that are really in the team, because like it's all about like attitude. They usually say like teamwork should be based on attitude and not aptitude. Like
Mm-hmm.
attitude, it's what makes you wake up the following day, and
Mm-hmm.
aptitude is whereby you think you know everything in that field, and you just be, maybe you are just too arrogant. You go to
Mm-hmm.
talk to the farmers in an arrogant way because you're bringing value to them. I don't think that can work. So like we should create like a very conducive environment for both like the farmers and the people who are selling the product. So the team is really like important tool when it comes to marketing. It's like a brand that you are selling.
Okay. And maybe you just tell us briefly how your team is, broken down. how is it structured so that for those of us who want to venture into entrepreneurship, we can understand maybe really how we can structure our own team.
Yeah, sure. So like our team is a little bit complex. Like it's we have an in-time team, an inside team, and also we have an external team because like we usually consider our partners and also farmers as our team because like we are creating
Mhm.
this thing together to add value to them. So our external team, first of all, if we can start with the external teams includes like our farmers and also like our partners. Partners include that people who are creating policies to help us grow our business also. And when it comes to the internal team, we have, because like we are a technical company currently, so we have like a bigger portion of the people from a technical background, people who like make the stuff. Then we have like
Mhm.
a marketing team, people who like make sure that our brand is outside there, like people really know what you are doing, so that when you meet a farmer next time, at least the farmer resonates of with what you are doing. Because like coming from a technical background, you can it's usually very hard to go sell a product outside there, because
Yeah,
sometimes you may just find yourself you're being too technical. So we also
yeah.
need people who are good at marketing, people who can resonate very well with animal farmers without complicating issues. Yeah, that's our
Mm.
team.
I like what you pointed out that in your team, you it's really important to know your weaknesses so that you can bring someone who can cover rather make that weakness a strength. Like as IT people, you're not so good at communicating
Yeah,
without
sure.
seeming so like you're speaking gibberish or something. So
Yeah,
you
sure.
know you need marketers who can come in and help you communicate to the farmer or to a layman, you know.
Sure.
Yeah, so I think that's also very important when it comes to team dynamics to really understand what are our weaknesses and what could help us to be better, you know, and what are where you're coming short, so that someone who's coming in can help you bridge that gap. I like that. Now let me see if there are any more comments. Of course, there are. Let me read one or two. We have Ellie, who says it's unfortunate that agriculture is seen as a dirty, quote unquote, job. Unknown to many, we all work for a major reason, food. That is very true. Um, we have Mugabe Jr. says, oh, I read the comments. And then I think he answered Mugabe Jr. How much do I need to start an agribusiness? Or he asked how much. I think we can tackle that. How much you need? How much? Okay. Emily Atieng says timely conversation, great work. Maina Mary says following such a great conversation, great. So I ask a question from Mugabe about how much you need to start your agri-venture. I would like to talk about something very, very sensitive, or rather, yeah, I don't know what word I can give it. Mental health. So for us as agripreneurs, like any other business, we are tried mentally sometimes or most times. So I just like to know, first of all, let's start with the good side. Like how has venturing into business in agriculture been able to change you as a person? And then we come to, has it also maybe okay changed you to the positive for a start? Because I know there are personal skills and intrapersonal skills you've learned through the journey, and then there's also like the tough bit. Has it pushed you to your limits mentally? I'll start with Joe.
Oh, yes, thank you. I would say agriculture in general. Okay, everything else does that, but agriculture really gives you a lot of character development. You get a lot of, yeah, get a lot of
Uh-huh.
development because it requires a lot of patience. And the one shortcoming with mangoes, specifically, they are seasonal fruits. That means you only get them
during a short period of time. That is mostly between December and mid February. So if you have a long period of mangoes, you have, say, technically 3 months. So in
Mm-hmm.
3 months, if you have 10,000 mangoes, for instance, or 5,000 bags of mangoes, for instance, that means you have to get rid of all that produce within a period of 2 to 3 months, and they are continually ripening and going bad. So you're trying to juggle between getting them from the shamba to the market in a short period of time, and the grace period really makes you want to scream sometimes. So yes,
Mm-hmm.
in terms of the mental issues, is how to juggle on you've put a lot of effort throughout the year. You've spent, say, money on manure, on your, if you're paying your team, or if you're running a business and you're paying your employers, you've spent so much on this, and then the period is so little that you have to go above and beyond to make sure that you get it out there in the market in due time, or incur lots of losses because they're still going bad, and the market is escaping at the same time because the demand is usually for that period of time. It gets to a point where now there are mangoes all over the place, from Makueni, from Busia, from
Mm-hmm.
Mombasa. Now when mangoes are everywhere, no one wants your mangoes anymore, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's where it requires a lot of discipline and character development and mental toughness to make sure when to decide, to make decisions fast and
Mm-hmm.
in a timely manner.
I like that too. I like that because you've mentioned about time, and time is everything when it comes to agribusiness because
Yes.
you're a bit like the market is flooded. You're too early again. Like the timing is very, very key.
Yeah, the
I like
timing is
that.
very, very key. Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank
that
you.
is true.
Mhm.
Okay. How about you, Clinton?
I will say like about mental health in entrepreneurship is like a very serious thing. What I usually say about that, we should know really how to strike a balance between work and our other side of life, because like
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day it's about living, because like when you are working with, if you just try juggle the two things, you'll find that when you lose something through work, you can easily bounce back and restructure it. But when you lose something on your other side of the life, it's usually very hard to replace. So no matter what you are trying to do, at the end of the day, we're just trying to optimize profit, but we should also consider our other side of our life so that we don't get into problems to do with mental health, because it's a
Yeah.
very serious thing. Just like Joe said, you should expect also losses. Don't ever expect that you're going to be a winner always.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, just have a heart of resilience. When you fail today, it doesn't mean that you'll fail tomorrow. If you make 5 attempts, you are going to make at least three. The third one at least is going to make sense, but don't never lose hope when by whether whereby maybe you find something bad in one time, then you lose hope immediately. You should develop the mind of resilience, of like waking up every time you fall down, because like it's a very tough journey. You have a lot of challenges, losses, and also like sometimes you may encounter even very moody uh, very moody customers. You should really know how to balance that. Yeah, and you should also understand people, because like very many people are different.
Mm-hmm. Oh wow, I like that. I feel like through this journey, you can actually end up a motivational speaker from the experience.
Yeah.
Now we had the question on how much to start, and I feel like it's normally a very common question. How much do I need to start? What's your take on that? Because I feel like it's very it depends on what you want to do, right? It's not easy to answer how much you need to start. But we can customize the question into what we're doing. So I'll start with you, Joe. How much did you need to start mango farming?
How much?
How much did you need to start, or how much did you use when you're starting your venture in mango farming?
Hmm.
Would
Well,
you call? Mm-hmm.
To start, actually, I did not use a lot of money. I started with only 3,000 shillings.
Oh, wow.
Yes, only 3,000 shillings to buy all the seedlings that I had.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily for me, that time I had been laid off, so I didn't have a job.
Mm-hmm.
I was home. Okay, I was jobless, so I had some time to spend in the farm. So with my seedlings, all I did was ask for my friends and neighbors to help me dig up the holes. We used the manure from where our goats and cows sleep, so we used the natural manure. um, so the only expenditure was mostly on buying the seedlings, buying the small now trees to plant. That was my initial expenditure. Only 3,000 shillings, and that's how I started. So after a while, I started having the vision of how big we can go with this, how much we can improve, how much we can add on. Say generally expenses have been higher on the long run, but when the decision making, and now this narrows down to the question our listener from Nairobi asked. If you're from Nairobi, like how much you need if you have, say, a farm.
Mm-hmm.
To begin, I only started with the 3,000 just to put something on the ground. For me, the important thing is to start. It doesn't matter how small or big you start, as long as you've started, the rest transforms as the journey continues.
And if I may ask, you started with 3,000, and where are you at now? Like, could you give us a range of how much you've been able to accumulate over time in your venture?
Wow. From selling my mangoes?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. A lot. A lot. I'd say we've sold mangoes roughly over half a million.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, over time, over the duration of, say, 5 years.
Yeah.
Yes, we've
That's
sold
brilliant.
over, yeah, 5 years we've sold over half a million, because for every period our target was to have a turnover of at least 100,000 shillings or after expenses.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, so that was our target every year, because mangoes are seasonal. They only come once a year. So our target was by the end we close shop in March, because in March is when now everything was going down. There are mangoes everywhere. You're not selling anymore. Actually, in March, if we have mangoes, we're usually giving them out because everyone has mangoes at that point. So by the time we
Mm-hmm.
close shop at March, our target audience is our target market is usually at 100,000 after expenses. So I'd say roughly over 5 years, every year we've been able to nail 100,000 in the business.
Amazing. I will come look for you around March when you're giving out mangoes because I love mangoes.
Yeah, definitely around March. If you're around, just hit me up. I will definitely come with a bag.
I will do that.
Yeah.
Trust me. I'm marking my calendar.
Okay.
Now, over to you, Clinton. How much did you need to start your venture as we wrap up?
So, like starting a technology company sometimes usually tricky. It just depends, like what you want to build and like what you have currently. Because like you need some skills. You need like software developers to come and assist you because like you can't do everything on your own. Because like
Mm-hmm.
technology is usually very broad. So most of the time, you usually need a team of three. So like to start a technology company is usually a little bit expensive because like you need to set up because like the first initial time usually like time for research and development whereby you are doing a lot of iterations in the field and on your own labs field and usually costly. So like for a start, we started with like 300,000 Kenya shillings. So
Mm-hmm.
that are catered for like legal company registration, things like getting in our first like employees to assist us in development. But we couldn't compensate like the first employees fully, so we did that in form of stocks. So like it's really a little bit tricky. It just depends on what you are building, and
Mm-hmm.
we usually call it the first initial product that you build usually called like a prototype, and a prototype
Mm-hmm.
usually varies in how much it can consume. So it just depends on your prototype. Because for us, it was a little bit tricky because we are not getting all the components here from Kenya. We are relying on China and the
Understand.
US and importing all the things here. So it's a little bit tricky. Yeah.
And maybe how much have you been able to make from the 300,000? If
So
you're
currently,
open to share with us.
so like current that information will be like a little bit confidential at the moment. But what I can just share is that currently we haven't like sold yet a lot of devices. For technology
Mhm,
companies, they usually like some time before you start doing business. So like
mhm,
we usually have like alpha test, you have beta test, and you have the second beta test. So you usually have like a series of three tests before like you really get into business. Because I
into
will surprise
business.
you if I tell you like today that Uber really doesn't make any profit, because like they are still in the research phase. They currently
I
not doing
understand.
any business. Yeah, and that
Yeah.
is the phase you are in today.
Okay. But I know you will. And if you're watching this and you have bees, you definitely need to get IBs to help you protect them from theft and from any conditions, any climatic conditions that could affect your
Yeah,
bees.
sure. Yeah,
Okay, so
sure.
that you have the best of best honey. Guys, we are out of time. I'll just give you maybe 5 seconds each. I hope you're able to wrap up with that. Please say a word to our audience who also want to venture, I believe, who also want to venture into agripreneurship. I'll start with you, Joe.
Well, for me, anyone who wants to go out there and venture into agripreneurship, first and foremost, I know the interest is already there. It's just the resilience, the patience, and innovation. As I said earlier on, what I regret most is not tapping into social media or the internet. And I'm glad Clinton is here with now the new tricks, new ways of doing things with IT and all that. So the future is bright. Things are improving.
Mm-hmm.
Agriculture, when we think, when I was in high school, you'd think agriculture as that thing you do if you want to get dirty or it's messy or you don't want to get involved with. But right now things are
Yeah.
improving. They are, and I remember one conversation we were having with you, Gabriel Nashiva, is now after. It's not even about now selling just mangoes to the market. It's how you can improve now this mango to be something else, to be a crepes, to be,
Yeah.
yeah, something else. So for anyone who's looking to come into the market, we are excited for you because I'm sure you're coming up with new tricks and new ways of doing things, and
Yeah.
hopefully we can reinvent this journey of agriculture and agripreneurship to be something cool and something more profitable. So just come in with a good will and the strong will to persevere, because yeah, everything good is difficult. Yeah,
And it takes time.
and it takes time. Yes,
Oh, amazing.
thank you. Yeah.
Clinton?
Yeah, sure. What I like to say is that you should just know like agriculture and agripreneurship is not all about like just being in the farm. It's it should never be considered like a dirty job. Agripreneurship revolves all through the whole value chain, from where the crop is being farmed to the way it's being transited in the roads
Mm-hmm.
up to the way it's being sold to the end user. So you should just look at how you can create value through any of those processes, and you
Mm-hmm.
should never give up because it comes with its own challenges. You should never be
Mm-hmm.
rushy because like it takes time, just the way you have said. But
Mm-hmm.
what you can just do is that just try make sure that you're adding some value, however small it may be, to the farmers, and you're going to be appreciated at the end of the day. Whether when you are creating something good for the farmers, money will always just come afterwards. Yeah. Business works that way. You first of all create an impact, then money will
Mm-hmm.
come. Yeah.
Amazing. Now, for me, my conclusion would be the best way to predict the future is to create it. And these are the words of a wise man called Peter Drucker. Young people, we are able to create something substantial for ourselves from the ideas we have. And so, whatever ideas you have, I mean, both our panelists today, Joe and Clinton, whatever they're doing now started from an idea. It was just an idea. How about I try this? How about so the same for you as you listen and watch us today. Whatever idea you have, start with that. Joe tells us he started with just 3,000 shillings. I am sure, um, even with the tough economy, you can find 3,000 shillings. Okay, for Clinton, we won't speak about that. I mean, 300K, and it's still not unachievable. That's the key thing. Whatever amount of money you will need to start your venture, it is achievable. Because Clinton here, by the way, has been very modest not to tell us he was a winner in a competition called Producers Direct, which happens every year, and it supports young agripreneurs. He was a winner this year, a few months
Wow.
back. So
Congratulations, Clinton.
I would
Thank
say
you.
whatever it is that it takes to do what you want to do and to create a future for yourself, please do it. Um, don't get discouraged. I think that has been said over and over today in the conversation. Don't get discouraged. And for me, I'd say start with a team. Get a team that you can work with. Anyone who shares the same aspirations as you would even be better to be part of your team. And people also with skills that you don't have, would really go a long way for you. And I'd say all the best for you. Thank you so, so, so much to Clinton and Joe for joining me today in this discussion. Unfortunately, we couldn't have Monica join us. She had some technical problems from her end, but I am very, very grateful. Your insights have been amazing for both me and the viewers and listeners. So thank you. Thank you once more. I wish you guys the very, very best. I hope the next time we touch base, you guys will have done so, so much more. Yeah.
Yeah, I hope so too
Yeah,
as well.
sure.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you for
Thank you.
and
having
and
us.
thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you
Do
for
have a
having us.
lovely evening. I don't know
You
what
too.
time it is where you are, Joe.
Oh, it's 10 a.m. over here. It's 10 a.m.
10 a.m.
Yeah,
A whole day ahead of you.
a whole day ahead of me, so I'm just starting off.
Do have a good one.
Okay, you too. Bye bye.
Okay, bye. Thank you. That's all from us today.
Bye.
Thank you for watching me. I've been your host, Gabriela Nashiva. And thank you so much to Politics Media for making this live stream possible. Thank you, guys. Till next time.
Okay,
Have a
bye.
nice time too. Bye.
Bye.